Chelsea, how are you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. We're getting to that really exciting time now in the pre-season where right around the corner will be Nottingham Forest Netball's debut in the Netball Super League. Is it all starting to feel real now?
Yes, no, it definitely is. I remember our first week, October 14th, and I have a whiteboard before training that sets out what our objectives are and timings and stuff, also so the girls can sort of see, is she staying on time as coach? So far, the journey's been really good. Pre-season's been great. Touch wood, everyone's in a really good space, fitness and body-wise. So no complaints from me.
Talk to us a little bit more about pre-season because I know that some of the girls have been busy with international duties and things like that, but having them all on court, this brand new team, it must be really nice to see it all come together.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because of the way the netball international calendar works, girls are in and out of the environment, and we have so many internationals, which is fantastic for us because they get the opportunity to play on the world stage. But for us as Forest and trying to build those new connections, it makes it difficult. But that's just the landscape of our sport at the moment. And I think there was a few weeks that I only had two players, but with the beauty of the next gen league now, I had opportunity to bring them into our environment and touch on the reserves and make sure they have an understanding of what NSL is about. So it has its positives and its negatives, but for us now, we have the full squad together, and the foundations and the connections of the ones that have been in the environment a little bit longer are there, and it's just about bringing the new ones, mainly Rolene, into it as quick as possible. And so far, she has just slotted in perfectly.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit more. Obviously, quite a big proportion of the squad on international duties throughout a really busy international period over the summer and winter time. But does that really help in terms of them going away to camps, having to bring that experience back to Nottingham Forest netball, and almost like being thrown into a new team, similar to what you guys are doing in pre-season?
Yes and no. I think it's a catch-22 because obviously in our environment, the style of play we want to play, structures, and girls around you all play different. And combinations take time, and it's not just like getting along on court and making sure that you know each other like a thin thread of knowing where people are going to run and where they like to receive pass, and if you can extend them further on the right side, all those little intricacies that it takes time of being on court together. So if they're in and out of the environment, it makes it hard for Forest, but on the other end, for them as athletes, it's such an amazing opportunity to play international level, feel that pressure, link in with different styles of play that they can then, as the individual athlete, put it in their pocket as a toolkit of something new that they might learn. And hopefully whatever they take from that, they can bring back into the Forest environment saying, oh, we did this worked really well. Can we make these adaptations? And I'm definitely 100% open to that. So it has its pros and its cons. And again, it is what it is. We're not the only squad that are faced with these difficulties. The only difference is we're brand new.
Yeah, of course. And on that, being one of two of the newest teams to the Netball Super League, what's kind of been key into making this gelling process happen a lot faster in comparison to the teams that have been franchises for years now?
Yeah, I guess I don't know the answer fully to that because it is so brand new to myself and the other girls. Some of them were part of the Rhinos setup when they first started, and we definitely asked them about what did you find worked, and I've definitely lent on other coaches that have been in this position for a startup franchise to say, is there any learnings you can give me now without me having to make the mistakes you made? And for us, it's just about making sure that we took the time and effort to make sure the girls were involved in knowing where we're at with training, so WhatsApp groups and lots of messages going back and forth, and then also the players taking ownership or making sure that they learn about each other and build those like friendships and relationships off the court, because that is also important. You don't have to be best mates to be great at your sport, but you need to have a bit of mutual respect and understanding about what makes the other person tick. So I know the players have done that work and made sure that everyone's up to date, especially too with game plan stuff. So we have our Teamworks app, we feed stuff onto it. So there's sort of no excuse to not know what we're about because the information's right there on their phones. But yeah.
Well, recently we saw that you announced who will be Nottingham Forest Netball's first captain and vice captain. Of course, Neve Cooper will be our captain, Tash will be our vice. Just talk through that decision process, which must have been quite difficult for you, and why them?
It wasn't difficult at all. No, I think like everyone in the team has different styles of leadership qualities, but those two girls, those two women, just shone and just naturally took on board, I guess, those titles. We established pretty early that we have a leadership group of 4 with Ria and Iona rounding that off, that they were our 4 that we announced in-house early on, just before Christmas. And from that, we knew that captaincy and vice captain would come from that. Neve is an absolute professional in every sense. She's a standard setter, she's a talker, she's a voice, she's a barometer for intensity and says it to you straight, but she's also really caring. And I think she'd be able to, well, that's why she's selected, isn't it? For many other reasons. And we spoke in depth when I said you're going to be captain about what her qualities are in that space. And she's also a full-time doctor. Like, she balances life. Like, I don't know how she has more than 24 hours in a day, and she does it extremely well. And so for me, it was making sure that, are you okay with this role? Because I didn't want to add to her plate. And she just absolutely was like, yes, I'm ready. And so that's really exciting. And then you've got Tash there, who she's the complete opposite to Neve in a way. She's not as loud or as, I wouldn't say passionate, but sometimes Neve can get fiery in the best way possible on court. But she just, when Tash speaks, everyone stops and listens. And I think having that balance between captaincy and vice captaincy really plays well into our hands, because we want everyone to feel empowered to still be leaders in their own right, but those two with those titles have a little bit more, I guess, weighting and pressure that comes with it, but they're natural leaders. So again, it was a really easy decision.
Oh, good. And you did something a little bit special, didn't you, for it being the inaugural season for the club? You wanted for them to have a little bit of a keepsake for their time as captain, for Neve as captain, and for something to continue for the future captains of Nottingham Forest Netball too. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so it's a bracelet, it's a Pandora bracelet with I wish it was Garibaldi red, but it was just the red that was available, and then it's got the 1 behind it, and that's just for Neve. She is our first captain for Nottingham Forest Netball, and it is an honour. And she said she didn't realise, I guess, the gravitas of it and how important and amazing it is. So it's for her to just have that little keepsake. And then when the time comes for a new captain to come on board, that's not passed off because that's hers, but we continue the tradition, and then there'd be number 2 and go on like that. I just think little things like that help build like the little, I guess, culture pieces or things that mean something.
And it's nice.
Hopefully they do.
Well, yeah, because it's nice because we're working with a blank canvas as well,
exactly,
isn't it? So
yeah.
that is great to see. And on the conversation of honours, recently Nottingham hosted the Vitality Netball Nations Cup, and you were there on day 2 and were actually honoured yourself for your incredible Roses career. How special was that to reflect on your time as an England Rose? And of course, with it being in Nottingham too, that must have been special.
Yeah, it really was. I think it was really cool that it was at Motorpoint Arena. That's our new home and my new home for netball in a different role. I'm very much a person that moves on very quickly from things in terms of what do I focus on next? Where's my goal? Where's my dreams? And sometimes I forget to sit in the moment and reflect on where I've been and what I've achieved. And so that opportunity was because I knew it was coming up, like leading into it, for me to actually just sit in it and be like, wow, okay, I did some really cool things and achieved some amazing things, and the journey's now changed and shifted, and I think for me it was lovely what they did. I know there was a video played. I didn't pay too much attention because not that I'm an emotional person, but I was like, just in case. I'm not going to watch that because, yeah, no one needs to see me be like, oh my gosh. But
tears,
tears. No, I don't want to cry in front of anyone.
And you mentioned it a little bit there. Obviously, we got to see the Motorpoint Arena again filled with netball fans, and I've got to say it was pretty amazing to see. But surely that boosts the excitement for you guys getting to step in there for the first time as your home, with everyone cheering purely for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the team be in their dresses, run out for the first time at home, which will be our round 2. So the season would have started, but I think for that moment for the club and for not just the netball side of the staff and everything that have been involved, I think everyone here at Nottingham Forest has got involved and got behind us and are really passionate towards it, that I hope it's a moment for the club as well, to feel that importance and that excitement. And I won't talk about the actual game, and hopefully we know where we'd like to fall in terms of a ticker win. But I think just the moment, and I guess I touched on it before about I'm not very good at sitting in a space and reflecting and taking it all in. I'll need to remind myself to have a breather and be like, wow, this is pretty cool.
We've recently just heard the news. I mean, there's so many changes already to this year with netball, but the amazing news that the broadcasting opportunities within netball has grown even more with a new Sky Sports deal, meaning I think it's tripling the amount of games that you can see on a weekend, and BBC Sport involved too, so that every game is available for people to watch. How amazing is that to hear that this sport just keeps growing and growing?
I think I'm just like, finally, these little things are massive wins for us. I think the opportunity for our sport to grow just that little bit, we need people to sight it and fall in love with the sport, because I've said it a million times. What we do, our game, our style of play, and the athleticism you see that these women put out week in, week out, you can't not like the sport. So if someone sees it, they might go, oh, I might want to go watch them live, and then viewership grows and everything, because it's all part of the holistic approach of we need to get this league up and running to the point of it being professional, and we don't need to have these conversations anymore and fight to be seen. So for us, I'm just like, thank you guys, this is brilliant, and now I can just flick my lens and be like, that's great, now let's get to playing some netball.
And my last question for you, we spoke right at the beginning, ages ago now, it feels like, before the girls even came in for pre-season. And I asked you at the time, you know, what are your goals and what are your ambitions for this team? Now that you've had time to meet everybody, see them on court, you know, not long to go now until it's all real, have those ambitions just grown further for you? Yeah,
no, definitely. I think I had my own ambitions on looking at the team on paper and knowing that we have a good team. And I was pretty honest in saying we want to get to finals and we want to try and get to the O2. And that's 100% what I wanted. I just needed the girls to want that too. I didn't want to say this is what's happening, because they need to have that belief in them, and for them to honestly say, we want that. Like we want to go for the break the glass ceiling, because it's going to be tough, brand new team together, but they're owning that, and their intensity at training and their ambition is something I'm really proud of, to just see them do it. Because as a coach, you give the foundations and you lay everything out for them, but they need to implement it. And there have been. And so for me, that's really exciting. And the investment and the buy-in from the team has been fantastic. And success for me is also the enjoyment. They feel like they've learnt and developed as a netballer. They've switched on. I always speak about the netball brain, making sure that they don't just rely on being fittest and the strongest, because there's a lot more to our game. And that they feel part of something really special, because they are the foundation for what we hope to be a really successful and strong franchise in Nottingham Forest Netball. That's around forever, but everyone wants to come to us, and we're also almost shielding people, going, no, we're pretty good with our 10. Well, all I can say is that I cannot wait to see you guys in action when the league starts. Chelsea, thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, Sam.